Have you ever been told you're antisocial, too quiet, or strange just because you prefer your own company? Maybe you're the person at gatherings who finds yourself observing the room, quietly noticing things others miss instead of jumping into every conversation. People might wonder why you don't fit in, why you sometimes seem distant, or why you're content with silence. But here's something no one tells you. What if your so-called antisocial behavior is actually a sign that you're just smarter than everyone around you? Sounds bold, right? But today, I want you to forget everything you've been told about what it means to be social or normal. Because what if Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of all time, was right? What if most people are just reacting, not really thinking? And what you call antisocial is actually a deeper form of awareness. Let's be honest, most people go through life blending in. They laugh when others laugh. They agree when everyone nods. They follow the rules of small talk and groupthink, often without ever questioning why. But here's the catch. Those who quietly observe, who don't force themselves to fit in, are usually the ones who see the truth no one else wants to face. They don't just accept things, they analyze them. They don't just follow, they notice the flaws in the system. And yet the world tries to convince you something is wrong with you for thinking this way. If you're not excited to hang out every night, or if you question shallow conversations, you get labeled as distant, difficult, or even broken. But what if you're not antisocial at all? What if you're just awake in a world that's half asleep? Here's a secret. Real intelligence isn't about being loud or always saying the right thing at the right time. It's about noticing what others miss. It's about being willing to question the status quo, even if that means spending more time alone, thinking deeply, or not always joining in. Jung understood this. He wrote that most people never really meet themselves because they're too busy living out scripts written by society, family, or their peer group. To truly know yourself, he said, you often have to break away from the crowd and risk being misunderstood. That's where you come in. Let's dig deeper. The people who are always surrounded by noise, who never stop talking, who always need validation, these are often the ones running from their own thoughts. They fill their schedules, scroll endlessly on their phones, bounce from one group to another. Why? Because silence is uncomfortable. When things get quiet, their inner doubts and insecurities start speaking. But for you, solitude isn't scary. It's home. That's not weakness. That's strength. Jung called this the path of individuation. It's the journey of separating from the collective noise and meeting your true self. Most people never make it. They're too busy fitting in. But those who do, they're the ones who change the world, even if the world never truly understands them. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the people who make the biggest impact in history, the inventors, artists, philosophers, and even the most insightful friends you know, were usually the ones called weird, odd, or antisocial at some point? They weren't obsessed with blending in. They cared more about truth than popularity. They watched, learned, and only spoke when they had something real to say. So if you've ever felt like you don't belong, that you're on a different wavelength from most, here's what Jung would want you to know. Your mind isn't a problem. It's a gift. You're not antisocial. You're just more awake, more observant, more capable of seeing what most people never will. Let's talk about why this happens. It's not just about personality. It's about how you process the world. Most people's brains are tuned to group survival. They look for cues from others and they copy behavior. That's why trends explode. That's why everyone's doing it becomes a reason for almost anything. But your mind doesn't just accept things at face value. You question, you notice patterns, you get bored of shallow conversation quickly. That's not a flaw. That's higher awareness in action. Here's the wild part. Studies actually show that people who are more intelligent or have deeper inner worlds often feel less connected to large groups and more connected to ideas, art, or even nature. It's not that you can't socialize, it's that you choose your energy carefully. And that's what sets you apart. Now, let's be real. A lot of people won't get this. They'll try to convince you to change. They'll say, just try harder to fit in, be more outgoing, don't be so serious. But that's like asking a tree to be a river. You're not meant to flow where everyone else does. You're meant to grow where your roots are strong. This isn't about being arrogant or looking down on others. It's about understanding that intelligence isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's the person sitting alone at lunch, reading, thinking, or just observing life. Jung believed that these moments of solitude are where true self-awareness begins. When you're alone, you can finally hear your own thoughts, separate from everyone else's noise. And here's where most people mess up. They spend their whole lives trying to run from silence. But you learn from it. You find clarity. You turn solitude into your greatest tool. So the next time someone says you're antisocial, remember this: you're not less, you're more. You're more observant, more thoughtful, more aware. You see the world with eyes wide open, even when everyone else is pretending. By the way, you're not alone in this. All over the world, there are people like you, quiet thinkers, deep souls, the ones who don't fit in because they were never meant to. And together, you're changing the world quietly, one honest thought at a time. Before we dive even deeper into the psychology of why the world misunderstands you, and how you can use your gifts to shape your own reality, let me ask you this. Are you ready to see your so-called antisocial side as your superpower? Because in the next part, we're going to break down the actual techniques Jung revealed to turn your quiet intelligence into your greatest advantage. Stay with me, and you'll see. Being different isn't a curse. It's your hidden edge. So now you know, your quiet nature and deep thinking are not flaws. They're actually your hidden strength. But how can you use this strength in a world that constantly tells you to fit in, speak up, and follow the crowd? This is where Carl Jung's teachings truly come alive. Jung didn't just talk about being different. He gave us a roadmap for turning that difference into something powerful. Let's start with a simple truth. Most people live their lives on autopilot. They do what's expected, act how others want, and rarely pause to ask, is this really me? That's where you're already ahead. You question, you observe, and you know how to step back when something doesn't feel right. Jung called this the beginning of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming your true self, instead of just a copy of everyone else. But becoming your true self isn't easy. The world loves comfort zones. Most people find safety in numbers, in trends, in likes and follows. They want to belong so badly that they give up pieces of themselves to fit in. But you sense that the real adventure is inside. You feel that urge to look beneath the surface, to ask tough questions, to dig for truth, even if it means standing alone. That's the spirit of a true individual. Jung believed that this journey is what makes life meaningful. He wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And to do that, you have to face the parts of yourself and the world that most people ignore. You have to look honestly at your thoughts and feelings, even the uncomfortable ones. That's the real difference between simply existing and truly living." Here's where your so-called antisocial habits become your advantage. You see, when you're not distracted by endless chatter or the pressure to fit in, you have space to notice things others don't. You spot patterns, you sense when something is off, and you see through fake behavior. This ability is what Jung called seeing with your own eyes. It's a skill most people never develop because they're too busy copying what's popular. Think about it. Have you ever watched a group conversation from the outside and noticed things no one else did? Maybe you see who's pretending, who's truly happy, or who's secretly anxious. While others are lost in the noise, you're picking up details, reading between the lines. This is not just intuition, it's a higher level of intelligence. It's the reason people like you often become problem solvers, creators, and innovators. You see what's really happening, not just what everyone says is happening. Jung also warned about the danger of the crowd. When you're always surrounded by other people's opinions, you start losing your own. Your thoughts blend with theirs, and soon you can't tell where you end and they begin. That's why your moments of solitude are so important. In those quiet times, you reconnect with your real thoughts and feelings. You start to trust your own mind. And that's how you become someone who leads, not just follows. But this path isn't always easy. Sometimes being true to yourself means feeling lonely or misunderstood. You might look around and think, why does everyone else seem so comfortable in the crowd? The truth is, most people are just better at pretending. They've learned to wear masks. They've mastered the art of fitting in. But deep down, many are just as confused or lost as you feel sometimes. They're just afraid to admit it. Here's where you can use your intelligence to your advantage. Instead of seeing your difference as a wall between you and the world, see it as your window into the world's real secrets. Your ability to step back and observe helps you understand people better than they understand themselves. It makes you a better listener, a sharper thinker, and, if you choose, a more compassionate friend. Let's look at some ways you can use your so-called antisocial side to win in life. Jung style. 1. Trust your gut instincts. When you get a strange feeling about a person or a situation, pay attention. Your mind is wired to notice subtle clues others miss. Don't let anyone talk you out of your instincts. Jung believed that intuition is a form of unconscious intelligence, the kind that keeps you safe and helps you make smarter choices. 2. Value your alone. Time. Most people avoid being alone because it forces them to face themselves, but you thrive in silence. This is where your best ideas are born. Use this time to create, to reflect, and to recharge. Remember, solitude is where leaders and creators do their best work. 3. Ask better questions. While others are busy making small talk, go deeper. Ask yourself and others questions that matter. Why do you feel the way you do? What do you really want out of life? What's the truth behind someone's words? Jung taught that good questions lead to self-discovery, and self-discovery leads to real growth. 4. Observe, Don't just react. In a world obsessed with instant opinions and snap judgments, be the one who watches first. Notice the energy in the room before speaking. See who's comfortable, who's insecure, who's genuine. This makes you not just smart, but wise. 5. Set boundaries without guilt. Just because you're quiet or selective with your energy doesn't mean you're rude or cold. It means you respect your own time and mind. Jung encouraged people to honor their boundaries, even if others don't understand. This is what keeps you healthy and focused. 6. Connect with people who get it. You don't need a huge circle. A few real friends who understand you are worth more than dozens of fake connections. Find people who appreciate your depth, your honesty, your unique perspective. Jung believed that true connection starts with being real, even if that means being rare. 7. Use your insight to help others. Your ability to see the truth can be a gift for others too. If you sense someone struggling, offer a listening ear. If you notice a problem, suggest a solution. Jung believed that those who understand themselves deeply are often the best at helping others because they see what's hidden beneath the surface. Now, some people might say, but isn't it lonely living this way? The answer: not really. It's only lonely if you believe you're the only one. In reality, there are millions of people like you, thinkers, observers, quiet minds, making a difference in their own way, every single day. You're not alone. You're part of a rare, powerful group that shapes the world by thinking differently. And don't forget, Jung's whole philosophy is about becoming your truest self, no matter what the world expects. It's about turning inward, discovering your own truth, and then letting that truth shape how you live, love, and connect. The world might call you antisocial, but Jung would call you authentic. And in a world full of copies, authenticity is priceless. So next time you're tempted to apologize for being different, remember, you're not antisocial. You're just tuned in to a deeper frequency. Your silence isn't emptiness. It's full of wisdom, ideas, and possibility. Your questions are not a problem. They're a path to something real. And as you move through life, use these gifts. Trust your gut, value your solitude, set strong boundaries, and always keep asking better questions. That's how you turn what others call a weakness into your greatest strength. But we're not done yet. In the final part, I'll show you exactly how to turn your quiet intelligence into real-world results, how to build confidence, connect on your own terms, and use everything Jung taught to live a life that feels powerful, free, and deeply true to you. Don't miss it. If you've made it this far, you've already begun to see yourself and the world differently. You understand now that your so-called antisocial side is not a curse. It's a sign of deeper intelligence and authenticity, just like Carl Jung said. But knowing this is only the beginning. The real transformation comes that when you use this awareness to shape your life on your terms, confidently, calmly, and with purpose. So let's bring everything together and make it practical. How can you turn your quiet, observant nature into real-world results? First, let's face a hard truth. Most people will never understand what it's like to see the world the way you do. They won't get why you value silence, why you sometimes need space, or why small talk feels empty. But that's okay. The goal isn't to be understood by everyone. The goal is to understand yourself so well that other people's opinions lose their power over you. Jung believed this was the path to true freedom. 1. Build confidence by trusting your difference. The first step is to stop apologizing for being different. You don't have to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. The world is full of people who are pretending, wearing masks, saying what's expected, following trends just to fit in. But you see through the act. You know how rare it is to actually think for yourself. Start by making a promise to yourself. I will not trade my authenticity for approval. Confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about knowing who you are and being okay with it, even if that makes you the quietest one there. Every time you trust your gut, every time you choose your own path, you're building real confidence from the inside out. 2. Communicate on your own terms. You don't have to force yourself into endless conversations or fake excitement about things that don't matter to you. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say no to invitations that drain your energy. Instead, focus on quality over quantity when it comes to connection. Have conversations that matter with people who get you. If you struggle with small talk, try this. Ask real questions. Instead of "How's the weather?" ask, "What's been inspiring you lately?" Instead of "What do you do?" ask, "What do you care about?" Most people are starving for real conversation. They just don't know how to start. You can be the one to lead the way. 3. Use your insight for growth. Your ability to observe and reflect is a tool, not just for survival, but for growth. While others rush through life on autopilot, you have the power to pause, to question, and to improve. Make reflection a daily habit, even just 5 minutes a day to ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I feel? What would I do differently tomorrow? Over time, this will give you a kind of self-knowledge and resilience that most people never develop. 4. Create, don't just consume. A lot of people fill the emptiness inside with distractions. Endless scrolling, constant noise, shopping, gossip, drama. But you can use your solitude to create something meaningful. Write, draw, build. Start a side project. Express yourself in ways that matter to you, not just to get likes or approval. Jung said that creativity is the true path to wholeness. When you create, you connect with your own mind, and sometimes you connect with others in ways words never could. 5. Turn solitude into strength. Most people run from being alone because it forces them to face themselves, but you know how to sit with your thoughts, your doubts, your dreams. Turn that solitude into your superpower. Meditate. Go for walks. Spend time in nature. Listen to music that stirs your soul. These moments will recharge you in ways no crowd ever could. 6. Set boundaries and protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your mind and heart. Learn to say no with kindness but with firmness. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. Remember, every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something that feeds your spirit. 7. Find your tribe. It might take time, but there are people out there who will understand and appreciate the real you. Seek out communities, online or in real life, where deep conversations are welcome, where people are curious, thoughtful, and honest. One genuine connection is worth more than 100 shallow ones. Let your weirdness act like a magnet for the right people. 8. Use Jung's wisdom to shape your future. Carl Jung's teachings are all about self-discovery, but he also believed in using that knowledge to live boldly. He said, Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. You've already started looking inside. Now, use that awareness to shape your own reality. Don't settle for a life of just following along. Trust your curiosity. Try new things, even if they seem strange or scary. Keep learning. Challenge yourself. The more you step out of your comfort zone on your own terms, the more you grow into your true self. 9. Embrace being misunderstood. At times, people will label you. They might call you strange, distant, or even arrogant. Let them. That's a sign you're no longer living by their expectations. Every great thinker, creator, and leader in history has been misunderstood at first. You don't have to argue or prove anything. Let your actions, your insights, and your quiet confidence speak for you. 10. Celebrate your progress. You've come further than you realize. Every moment you chose truth over popularity, every time you trusted your instincts, every day you made space for reflection. You've been growing, even if no one else saw it. Celebrate that. Take pride in being someone who dares to think, to feel, and to live differently. And if you ever doubt your path, remember Jung's words. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. It's not always easy, but the reward is a life that feels real, a life that belongs to you, not to anyone else's script. So the next time someone calls you antisocial, pause and smile. You'll know the truth. You're not less. You're more. More awake. More alive. More willing to ask hard questions, seek real answers, and shape a life that's true to you. If this video made you see yourself in a new light, if it reminded you of your own strength or gave you the courage to trust your mind, do me a favor. Let me know in the comments below. Share your story, your thoughts, or just drop a "I'm not antisocial, I'm just smarter than them" in the chat. Let's show the world how many quiet minds are out there, making a difference. And if you want more videos like this, about psychology, self-discovery, and what it means to think deeply in a noisy world, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps this channel grow and helps others like you find their way. Remember, you are not alone. The world needs people who see differently, who think deeply, and who have the courage to walk their own path. Stay curious, stay true, and don't ever let anyone make you feel small for being real. This is your reminder. You're not antisocial. You're just smarter than them, and that's your power.